Hello guys, welcome to another video. And today we'll just be discussing fractions. And this one was actually recommended to me by my little sister. She asked me, "Can you do fractions?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's okay. I got you." So today we're just gonna go through 5 fraction problems you might see, introduce you to the basics in case you do still need some help, and obviously just get used to it. And so I'm trying a new format today with my headphones. I hope the sound is okay. If it's not, tell me in the comments. I'll change it. I'll see what I can do in order to make the sound better. But without further ado, let's do this. And we also got a stylus now, so it's easier to write on this iPad. But fractions. And so what are they basically? Essentially, it's just a number. Oh, that's not. It's just a number over another number. Now it could be any number, and it is divided by this little line right here, which is just a symbol for division. And now a common fraction that you might have heard of is just 1/2. And essentially 1/2 is just meaning that the 1 is being divided by 2. And then from there you can just divide it, and then from there you just get 50% or 0.5. So essentially today I will walk through you how to add, how to subtract fractions, and it's just a really simple process which involves something called a butterfly. So let's say you have a fraction of 5/4 plus 1/3. Now you might be wondering that there might be some complicated way, some complicated format in order to solve for this. In reality, all you have to do is just butterfly. So since 4 times 1 is 4, and 5 times 3 is 15, you can just add them, since you're adding them in the first place. And then with the 4 times 3, you can just multiply them together. And so from there, you just get 19/12. As you can simplify that, that'll be your answer. Now let's say if you were to do the same thing with subtracting fractions, take the same example. It'll be the same thing. This time you just subtract, and you'll get 11/12. Now, it might not seem that hard or that difficult, but when you run up into an equation that you need to solve with fractions, it might get a little bit more difficult. So let's take this equation. We have 9/4x minus 1/3 is equal to 2. Now, this is probably a huge step up if you have never seen a fraction equation or if you've just been dealing with equations that just look like this. However, I will go through you step by step in order to solve this equation. So first off, if you watch my other video of how to solve for x, you can see that we have a negative 1/3, which can be moved to the other side. So we can just add 1/3. Now you might be wondering, what would be the denominator or the lower number? Remember, this is the denominator. This is the numerator. The numerator is always on top while the denominator is always on the bottom. And you might be wondering, what might be the bottom number for 2? And the real answer is just 1. Because you have to remember that anything divided by 1 is just itself. Because you're not really dividing anything. It's like if you have 2 cookies and it's only yourself because you have no friends. Essentially, you're just going to give those cookies to yourself because you have no friends to divide them with. So you could just do this. Now obviously butterfly again, so this will just be 1 on top, then this will be 6. You add them, then you multiply the 1 times 3 to get 7 over 3. From there, we just get 9 over 4x is equal to 7 over 4. Um, my mistake, I'm so sorry. 7 over 3. Now you might be wondering, how can I isolate the x in order to solve for the equation totally? And you might be wondering, well, you could just multiply by the 4, then divide by 9. And I would say, just do the reciprocal of it. Just do the opposite. Multiply by 4 over 9, and do it to the other side as well. Because from there, this just cancels out, because it just becomes 1. So from there, on the left side, you're just left with an x. Then from here, you just multiply them. And unlike adding or subtracting fractions, multiplying fractions is really easy, because from there, you could just multiply the numerator, and then you could just multiply the denominator. And so from there, we have 7 times 4, which is 28, over 3 times 9, which is 27. And so your answer for this equation that we start out with, 9 over 4x minus 1/3 is equal to 2. It's just x is equal to 28 over 27. That might seem complicated, like a complicated answer, but if you do want to put it back into the equation and see, you will get 2. And so let's do an even harder one. I'm trying to think of an equation right now that will stumble upon most of you. So I wrote it in very, very light pen, and I'm so sorry about that. But essentially, we have 4 over 5x plus 1/3 is equal to 15 over 11. You might be wondering, this is a bunch of random numbers that don't make any sense, and don't worry, I'll make sense of it. So from here, just like we subtracted, or I'm sorry, added the fraction to the right side, for this one, we will do the opposite and subtract it. So from there, you're left with 4 over 5x, which is equal to 15 over 11. Minus 1/3. And from there, you can just butterfly. This is 11. This is 45. You subtract, then you multiply this. And you're left with 34 over 33. Now, this is a very, very huge number. From here, you can just isolate the x. And honestly, I'm not going to simplify that number because that's way too huge in fractions, and I'm really not trying to do all that. So essentially, you just have 34 times 5 over 33 times 4, which will be your answer. Now, for our final question, and this is a tricky one, we are going to have an x on the left side and an x on the right side. Don't worry, I will make them simple. Let's change the color a little bit. Change it to green. Change the font. So essentially, we have 1/2 x minus 7 over 2 is equal to 2/3, 2 over 3 minus 2 over 3x. And so from here, you can just add the 7 over 2 to the right side and then add the 2 over 3 to the left side. So let's do that. Don't worry, I'm going to simplify it. So from here, you can see that we have 1/2 x plus 2/3 x is equal to 7 over 2 plus 2 over 3. And so from here, obviously you can just butterfly. Or if you really want to be fancy, you could also just distribute the x out of here. So you're just left with the 1/2 plus 2 over 3. That's what I'm going to do. Because for me, for my brain, that's more simpler. And from here, 2 times 2 is 4. We're doing butterfly again. 3 times 1 is 3. You add them. Then you multiply 2 times 3, which is just 6. And so from here, you on the left side, you're left with 3 plus 4, which is 7. 7 over 6. Which is equal to 7 over 2 plus 2 over 3. So from here, we're going to also do butterfly. And so on the numerator, you're left with 25 over 2 times 3, which is 6. And then from here, you can multiply back the 7 over 6 times x, which is equal to 25 over 6. And now, just like the few other problems, you do the reciprocal. This cancels out to just be 1. And the 6 actually cancels out, which is perfect. So now you're only left with 25 over 7 as your answer. And there you go. These are some examples on how to do fractions, on how to solve equations with fractions, and to not be scared of them because they're just a number. Always remember butterfly method. Remember the numerator is always on top, and then the denominator is always on the bottom. Always remember that. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, if you liked it, like, subscribe, share, please. And if you liked it, then please watch my other videos as well. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.